Welcome back, everybody. Automotive Inc. Now, make sure you watch this entire video. It's going to be broken up into 3 parts here. So, this is an update on the most recent thing. As you guys know, I was looking at a new Chevy Silverado HD, blue in color, but the colors didn't match. That really bugged me. So, last month's incentives had changed a little bit, and I already had an appointment for Loki to go back in to address it. So, we're actually going down to pick up Loki. I had an F-150 loaner for a while. That was dropped off, and I'm going to go down and snag Loki. Now, before we get too much into this, please smash the subscribe button. It helps a small channel out. Like and the notification bell also does help when I post new content. So anyway, had the appointment already set up, but I was wavering on trading it because frankly, I'm tired of the issues. Well, after the last time it went in, it didn't work. So they changed some stuff. I'll link all of those videos down below. Had this one last appointment because what was going on with the truck. After I got it back, mirrors fold at random. One, both, either one of them. While I'm driving, come out in the morning. It wasn't connected with remote starting because remote starting from the app and or the keys. It was all basically the same. It would be not folded, and then by the afternoon they'd be folded. And so there was really nothing there. It ate my radio presets. It was going, alarms were going off, still has that weird short sound under the hood. And so again, after the GM thing didn't quite work out, I'm not against going to a GM next. I decided let's keep this appointment, took it down. Now, they had the truck roughly 2 weeks and some change on this issue. Got the regional manager involved. And basically when I dropped off the truck this time, they basically said, you know what, Jeremy, at this point, we're kind of at an impasse. We don't really know. So we might want to look at the buyback procedure, lemon law, and we will touch on that later, depending on what happens with it. So electrical issues still kept happening. Truck went down there, stayed there, like I said, for quite a long time. They monitored it, said, good to go. Come pick it up. So we're going to head down there and pick it up, and then we're going to see all that they addressed when we get there, and then we'll come back and touch on this and what we're going to do and how it actually turned out. So it's kind of a 3-part video talking about why the hell it went back in, 2, after I picked it up, what's going on, and then we're going to wrap up this whole video. All right, so now continuing on from the video, we are down here at Ford. As you can see here, just dropping off the F-150. Here is the bizwizzle of what I said was going on with it. Then we can go down here. You can see right here. So they did that. Test recharge. They inevitably said they replaced the battery. And then interesting enough, Ford did say, why hasn't the body control module been changed yet? Not the dealer asked that, but they said that with everything going on, they can see all of the stuff through telematics. So, there is another page. So, got all that done. So now we are going to keep it. Interesting enough, Ford actually told the dealer, they said that they can actually see your drives. So, wherever you do, 2-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute, whatever, they can see all your startups. They can go back through your entire history. Like I told you before, the truck is always reporting to Ford no matter what packaging you have. So, interesting enough, they said that my short drives could have been causing the vehicle to just charge enough and the alternator not to charge enough. However, the dealer rep that's been awesome with me, guys, down here, he has a 7.3, and he hasn't had any concern with that, and his commute is 1 mile. So we are going to keep our fingers crossed. This video is going to continue. I'm going to drive this thing for a week, and we're going to test the battery, report the battery. We're going to let it sit and see what happens. So keep our fingers crossed. See you in a second. All right, everybody, now we're ready to wrap it up. So let's look under the hood of Loki real quick. So this time I can definitively say I got a new battery. Now, in the past, they told me that I have had at least 2 batteries prior to this one. They've told me that I've had a new BCM. However, again, the dealer said the regional engineer had questioned why it hadn't been addressed. So, yeah, you can decide for yourself. Again, I trust this dealer. They've been good to me. But at the end of the day, that was kind of a question that I kind of just sat back in my head and scratched. I'm like, you guys already said you replaced the BCM once. and this continued. Now, I've had the truck back for 2 weeks. I've been driving it. We need to touch on that. Still have the electronic short underneath the hood. I now have a rattle in my HUD. I'm not sure why. I don't believe that had anything to do with them changing all that stuff out. So let's hop in the truck and talk. All right, so here's basically what's happened in the last 2 weeks. So I had the truck back on Monday. Was when I picked it up. By Tuesday, I drove it to work. Now again, they claim that perhaps my short drives are what was causing the battery not to be charged enough, not my battery drain. So that was very interesting. So by day 2, which would have been Wednesday, mirrors start folding again. The truck would unlock itself. I'd get to the gym. I'd lock the door with the keypad. Typically, I lock it. Doors unlocked as I walked away. Came back, hit the passive entry, walked away, unlocked itself again. So I'm not for sure what the disconnect is there. It's also locked itself where I had to go back in the house and get the other key because it wouldn't unlock any other way. So I actually had to pull the key out and use the door tumbler. So that is frustrating as heck. Presets keep shutting off. Not for sure why. I have XM radio, and on Ford you can have 6 pages of presets. It always goes back to 2 now. It's never done that before. No alarm issues, thank goodness. No alarm notifications. Again, still have that electric growl underneath the hood, which I've been told some people think it's a short. Now it's from the engineers out in Kentucky and Michigan. Mirrors folding. No rhyme or reason. I do not get it. So, drove the truck all week. Come Saturday, I drove it to the gym, and then we were moving one of my boys into his new apartment, and we just decided to rent a U-Haul. So basically, I didn't drive the truck that day. I was going to use the truck, but it was easier to use a U-Haul, less trips. By the next morning. Now, granted, over the last 2 weeks, I did test the battery, and it kind of just hovered around, 60% state of charge. State of health was good because we got a new battery. Now, imagine if your battery's draining often, the state of health's going to decline like the other one did. So I did take off my battery tender because they said that could have been some issue. Don't understand why that would have been, although they said I should just, in future reference, ground it to the body. That would be more helpful for them. But that's not how those work. So it just kind of hovered there. Saturday morning, we parked at about 10 a.m. I went out and tested the battery. Sunday morning at right around 8 a.m. and the battery was down to 38%. Left it parked again because I knew that here we go again. 38%. Next morning, get up, it was at 32%. And by Monday morning, it was at 20%. So I took pictures of these tests and sent them back to the dealer Monday because I was just like, I'm done with it. Dome lights don't work. Passive entry stopped working. Again, the truck is smart enough to take away features such as approach lighting and to save battery so it at least will start. And so to some extent, eventually it's going to get to that point where it's not going to do anything. And so I did go ahead and drive it to work on Tuesday, and the battery was still right around 18-20% because everything was shut off. No approach lighting, no passive entry, no dome lights. So it was basically in a state of, hey, drove it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and by that time the battery had gotten back up to 65% and it just kind of hovers there. So dome lights did come back on. Again, these features take several key cycles or run cycles, if you will, for them to kind of reboot themselves or the truck to reboot it and say, hey, I'm good to go. These features can come back on. But the mirrors now, again, like I said, 2 weeks later, the mirrors will just be folded at random. They'll fold while you're driving. It may unlock itself, so hopefully you hear that as you're walking away. So at the end of the day, contacted the dealer with all this information. They basically said, okay, let's go ahead and get it back in. I said, I'd rather move on to a different truck or see if we can do this buyback thing. And again, there'll have to be a separate video on the lemon law for Colorado and lemon law in general. And lemon law in Colorado did not work on my 11 Super Duty with the 6.7. It was in the shop for almost 90 days. Same exact issue. Cab off every time. It would just get to the stoplight, shutter, derate itself, and then towed into the dealer, and they just never could fix it. They thought it was algae in the def tank. That's the most off the wall thing I've ever heard. But anyway, contacted the dealer. They sent me the information on it. So now we are in the tedious task of certified letter went to Ford customer relations, asking them, one, to buy the truck back for what I bought it for, plus my non-removable accessories, which would be the bed liner, the fifth wheel toe prep, and the window tint. Now, they can always make their own decision. However, when I contact the Better Business Bureau Autoline, which I'll put their information down below because I don't think that's state specific, because they ask you what state you're in when you talk to them. Talk to a nice lady. She said, did you notify Ford? I said, I had not, because the dealer itself told me to start with you. And she said, well, you don't have to contact Ford. So started the thing. And if you're going to enact this thing, you're going to have to really stay on top of it, because they're going to give you a lot of tasks you got to do right away to get your claim done. So filed a claim with them. They said as soon as I acknowledge it, Ford would be notified, and they thought that Ford would potentially contact me by Friday. The dealer also thought they would contact me by Friday. Neither one of them did. Next day, I have about half dozen tasks I had to do, which was provide registration, provide a bill of not a bill of sale, and a sales agreement or sales order, blah, 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 blah. A couple things. Like I said, we'll go over that in a different video. Fast forward to Thursday, get a IM, I guess you will, from the Better Business Bureau Autoline, basically saying that Colorado lemon law says I have to notify the Ford customer relations line, asking them what they want me to have done. And then it goes into having to have the thing in the shop 4 times for the same issue and or blah, 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 X amount of days. And so I reached back out to him, because you can only IM him at that point, and basically asked him, hey, so does this mean I need to send them a certified letter, which I did send them, but I didn't send it to him initially because they said I need to. And I said, so does that give them 4 more times from the time they get the letter? I don't understand, because if that's the case, I mean, we could be talking, well, I mean, hopefully they would eventually fix it. But nonetheless, I went ahead and finally had time on Tuesday of this week to send Ford the certified letter. Sorry, that was Thursday of last week. So they're going to get it Monday. And I never heard back anything from the Better Business Bureau. Contacted my sales lady, and she says that when Ford does a buyback, specifically in here in Colorado, it can take about 5 to 7 weeks, where they will basically buy the truck back for whatever agreed upon thing. However, they reiterated that when you buy it on your sales agreement, and according to lemon law and according to the Better Business Bureau, you basically already agreed to arbitration. So arbitration is like mediation, a sit down of the 2 parties, and you basically try and agree to something along the line. So this can be a very tedious task, and at the end of the day, they can still tell you no, pound send, and you're stuck with your vehicle, and then you'd have to just get it fixed. Now, you might be thinking, why not just get it fixed if you like truck? Well, at the end of the day, they've been trying to get it fixed. It sucks being out of your vehicle. It sucks being in something different that isn't yours, and towing season is coming up. As we go through the channel, we're trying to progress it. And had everything worked, I've probably already been in the Chevy, and this wouldn't even be an issue. But, you know, why not try and see if they'll actually do the right thing and buy the truck back? One, so that I can move forward. I don't have to feel like this truck's out there screwing somebody else over. Because eventually the bumper-to-bumper is going to wear out. And these batteries and BCMs and everything are going to be on that next buyer. This screen's probably got to be $3,000 right here, and Lord knows how much else. If those systems keep getting shut off or are detached or whatever, eventually it's going to be a very expensive thing. So it would be nice if they would just buy it back, fix it, and then when other consumers have the same issue, they know how to fix it for them, and really quick, instead of having to take months to do it. And so it is going to be a long task, and as soon as they give me a yes or no, then we'll know the direction. You do not, if they buy it back, you do not have to buy another Ford. They can send the check to pay it off to whatever dealer you traded at. If that is the case or whatever. I don't know. That's one of the logistics I'd have to kind of narrow down. But I'll have a separate video on lemon loss stuff. And this doesn't scare me away from buying another Ford. As you see in my other videos, some people say you're too picky, you overcheck stuff, where I found the 2 different headlights in one truck. And for me, I'm just putting this information out there so people can know what to look for, what to listen for, because this sound you would hear, and if you were to go to the dealership and be like, I like this truck, but it's making a weird sound, it already has this problem. Guys, gals, walk away. Go find one of the other 100 trucks on their lot or a different manufacturer that you get in and there's no squeaks, no rattles, no shorts. Everything works as it should the first day. Does that mean it's not going to happen? Of course, you can have issues with any vehicle, but why start with something with a problem? Now, this one, again, it had problems before I bought it. They told me they fixed it on good faith. I bought it. I like the truck a lot, and it's done really well. But I am frustrated to the point now where we're going to move forward because towing season's coming up. We want to put out lots of great content, and it may be time anyway to bring in like a 25 Ram or Chevy while we're waiting for Ford to go to the next version of itself. But that is the most recent updates. The fix is not fixed, and we're just kind of meandering through, driving it and hoping it. Another thing that did piss me off, when the new BCM came in, it erased all my trailer data, all my trailer mileage, miles I pulled my trailer, my fuel economy that I had set. I always keep the trip to set for fuel economy. That's all gone. So again, I like holding on to that, one, for the channel to inform you guys, and 2, for my own personal thing. It's gone. So how many times do you want to put up with that? So it is super frustrating. That is the update on the 7.3 Godzilla. Again, head over to the channel. There's tons of 7.3. You can go through all the videos on the 24, 23 Super Duties. Check all that out and see kind of what the hell I've been going through over this last year and 3 months. And when you're buying these trucks, you know the potential issues. As always, guys, appreciate you guys being here, and I'm going to catch you on the next one.